Hello and welcome to the podcast, episode 7. Today, my guest is famous idol Lennon Amore. Did I say that right?
Lennon Amore. It's a common
Amore.
mispronunciation, but I've
I guess
always
it's
been so scared to just
mm,
tell people, hey, that's how you pronounce it, just because I don't want to be rude.
it's the Italian versus the French,
Yeah, definitely,
probably. When the moon hits
definitely.
the sky like a big pizza pie, that's Amore. Uh,
That's perfect.
I I am a dad at heart. Anyway, please introduce yourself to my audience. Pronouns, occupation, anything else you'd like to add.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lennon Amore. I am a regime idol. Pronouns are she, her. How is everybody doing today? Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Um, a little about me. I've been on DG for about a year and a half, I would say. Maybe not even in a half. Because I started in like June of last year, like very late June, and
Mm.
it's been a pretty steady rise ever since.
I mean, you have taken such big steps in your career. You work
Thank you.
for Regime,
Definitely. Yes.
um, and you've released so many albums. And I just think your photography is so pretty.
Thank
So
you
props
so
to your photography.
much. Thank you so much. I love your photography as well.
I mean, I try my best. A lot of mine is mainly slice of life. That's what comes when you're a blogger.
Definitely. Definitely. I like that style. I tried it for a little while, but I think
Mm.
it's definitely not for me, and you do an amazing job with it. So I like to leave the people who are good at the like specialty, let them
Yeah,
do it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, Obviously, as before, you are a singer. Uh, you have released some beautiful albums in the past. Recent is your most recent one is the collaboration with
Yes, with Aria
uh
Gardner, my friend,
Aria.
my best
See,
friend.
I was getting there going Ari, and then I stopped because
It's
I was like,
okay.
oh my gosh, I have no memory at all.
It's okay.
Uh,
Affinity was our collab album. It was more so like a reset button for the both of
mm,
us. She had released some material before that, and we both felt that this was more of like a re-debut, almost like a reset. So
mm.
everything from before, I acknowledge as part of my past, but in terms of my main like projects, I don't really consider those a part of them. But
Mm.
thank you for your compliments. Um that's still something that I pride myself on. Are some of my or like the groundwork,
Mhm.
that like made me who I am today.
And I believe I'm unsure about this. The Grammy nominations just came out.
Yes. Oh my
I'm
God.
reading. Oh, I'm skimming over them again because I was like, did it happen? I think it's only. Oh yes, pop vocal album, best pop vocal album. You are nominated.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Academy. Yes, we were nominated. That's something that I've been so busy recently. I've just been like I haven't really taken the time to
Mm.
thank anybody. So I guess I'll take this time. Thank you so much to everybody who supported the album. Thank you so much to everybody who um, you know gave us feedback and had a hand in the album. Um,
Mm.
Also, huge thank you to Aria. She's an amazing person and she's such a hard worker and brings such new ideas to my way of thinking. I oftentimes more than not am stuck in a certain way and like kind of like hyper fixated on a certain idea, and she brings a new perspective to things. So I very much so appreciate her, and she's my sister. She's British.
Sister from another movie.
Seriously.
You were actually introduced to me by my good friend Hope Blanche
Oh
uh
yes, I love Hope.
here when you had a concert that she went to, and I was like, whose concert is she going to? And I found out it was yours, and I immediately was hooked because I was just like, oh, I mean, like, I know I have a girlfriend, but she is so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I am a huge simp.
Thank you. That I'm as a simp myself, it's I know what that's like. So thank you. Yeah, it was my first ever concert, Lennon Amore live. It was really more so like a debut stage. I look back at that in such fondness. Um, and it's like it was something that I had never tried before. Obviously, I was new to DG, so I was taking a big risk.
Hmm.
Um, Putting on such a production that wouldn't really reach a huge audience, but I think that's what was fun about it.
Hmm.
Because I was able to make mistakes and able to really learn what I wanted out of like live performance. Plus, it was like a live concert. Like seriously, like I had an Instagram live and everything, and there was a set, there was a stage, decorations. So it was so immersive for me. I feel like I don't know if anybody had done that before. Um, but it was so nice and it was such an experience.
I love your performances. Every time I see like footage or photographs, I just think, oh, that is, oh, I mean, I have like no musical talent whatsoever.
Thank you so much.
The
I
dancers, the just
Thank you. Thank
atmosphere.
you. I love live performing. That's something that I'm so passionate about. And I definitely have a lot of creative control when it comes to my live performances. So I like to make them as big production as possible. I remember all my old stages, they were so beautiful. The one from a year ago. Also, my last stage that I did for my old projects was, I think they were all really good. And I would love to do them again, but I just feel like I didn't have the time this time around. But I'll definitely make time for that because I know that's something that people definitely enjoy are performance pictures and videos and very immersive content in that sense. And I feel like um, I think that's what makes DG very fun is when
Mm.
it's immersive and when it's like super audience. There's just like a bunch of interaction with
Yeah.
between the accounts and between people and between media and all that. I think it's very important that we make DG as immersive and fun as possible for people.
And your next event is, I mean, this is coming out on Monday, so it will have been 2 days since the event, but your next event is Regime Halloween.
Yes, yes.
Can
I'm
you tell me
literally,
about that? I'd love to know more.
oh my God. So I had this crazy idea. I told myself, well, I know I want to throw a Halloween party again because last year's was really fun. A lot of people showed out. And I really enjoyed the concert perspective of it as well because I had thrown in a concert with last year's Halloween party. So it was just myself last year. And this year, I obviously know a lot more people. I've made a lot more friends.
Mm.
Regime also has more people, like more acts as well. So I just had this crazy idea. I was talking to Aria one day. I was like, well, what if we do a Halloween concert? Like, why not? Like, that would be so fun. And she was like, wait, that's a good idea. And she literally gaslit me, and here we are.
And it's such a great lineup as well. Um,
Definitely. Thank you so much. We have some really good, like some new acts debuting, um, but as well as some really good, like solid acts from years past, and like veterans and seniors to DG.
big names, small
Definitely.
names.
It's a
I'm looking
nice
forward to it.
it's a nice range. Thank you. I'm I love it. I'm so infatuated with Halloween, and like being able to add like a concert, a music perspective to that is something that's I think really cool.
Mm. I personally I am a big fan of Halloween. I am what they would
Yes.
call Halloween gay
Yes.
for the fact that it is my
Yes.
entire personality for the entire month of October. Um, I'm
Seriously.
always so sad. November 1st, I'm like, everything's gonna be up to Thanksgiving. I mean, who knows how that's gonna be this year, but
Seriously. I feel like most people are very Christmassy, but
yeah,
I'm like
especially
I love Halloween. I love being able to dress up. I love the spooky. I love like horror movies too, so it's like any
mm.
chance I can get to be scared, love it. I don't really like the
Have you
candy
had
perspective of it, but it's more like the
you?
dress up kind of
I will
culture.
risk diabetes for that good old pack of Skittles. Do you have any favorite Halloween costumes of like past years? I myself, my favorite I think has been my Scarecrow Halloween costume that my sister made.
I love that.
I will never top that.
Um, I'm trying to think. One year when we were all kids, me and my brother, my sister, and my oldest sister all dressed up as Ninja Turtles. Even though like it was something that was quote boyish, we all really liked the Ninja Turtles, so we all dressed up as, um, Raphael, Leo, Donatello, and Michelangelo. It was very fun.
I mean, I love it when you can. I mean, even as a kid, it doesn't really matter that much who you dress up as.
Seriously.
Uh, I remember at my little sister's school one year, a boy came in as Marie Antoinette, and there were a lot of parents that were
Oh
outraged.
my
But
god.
I know
I love that.
my little sister made sure she was like, "Hey, I like your costume," and now they're best
Oh,
friends.
that's so
What a
cool.
cute story.
That's such a bold statement. So like any kid willing to do that obviously is passionate about something. So
Mm-mm.
I love that. I love that.
And I don't want to assume too much, but you are bisexual,
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes, yes. I was previously engaged to a beautiful woman named Jasper Snow. We talk, but it's not like it's more of like a checking up on each other
Mm,
type of thing. I think we were both not ready for engagement with each other in that sense. Like she just had a
mm,
lot going on, and I feel like that's why she ultimately ended up breaking off the engagement. But
mm.
yes, I am. I am.
Well,
I I'm a yam.
the good old yam. It's always good to check up on your exes. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have been with Maria for can't tell you how many years now. I'm 20. We're both 20 years old. I've probably only been with her for 4 years, but I'm still just every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm so glad that I live in this timeline.
Seriously, I definitely. Um, I feel like in recent times, especially like with what's going on lately, I've come to good terms with a lot of my exes. So it's really, it's very, I would say it felt right and it felt appropriate this year to just come to terms and like just clear all the
Mm,
bad blood with everybody. Because as much as I want to blame the other like that my exes on the relationships, I myself was
mm,
not the perfect person, and I still to this day am not. But we're definitely all working and growing. I think that's what's important
mm.
is that we just are constantly growing.
And bisexuals always get like a bad rep in the media. People always say, "Oh, they cheat," or "Oh, they're always looking at another
Yeah, they're
person, and
always
it's
like
like,
straying away from their partner. Like there's never any like real commitment there. And I think that's such like a false, like that's so false to me.
hmm, there's a lot of stigma with
Definitely.
certain
You're right.
sexualities. A lot of the time, uh, I mean, gay men are always told, like, you're not gay unless you do this,
Yeah,
or
I agree.
is like, if you don't have a pixie cut and are a butch lesbian, you aren't like a lesbian.
Right.
And that's always like hurt me in a
Hmm.
sense, because obviously I am not incredibly manly and I'm not incredibly feminine
Hmm.
either. Um, and I just think that, they've got to stop pushing stereotypes on
I
people.
agree. I definitely agree. There's like there's so much. Not everything is so black and white. Everything's
Mm,
very much so like a spectrum. So I think that you don't really need to fall between the lines of certain guidelines and certain restrictions. As long as you fall on the spectrum, you're able to explore as freely
mm.
as you want.
If we move on from that,
Definitely.
I'd not that I'm, not interested in LGBT, obviously, but I'd love to talk about, you always seem to shine a spotlight on your past, on your heritage. Um, please do tell me about your parents, your grandparents. You have such a connection with them that I'd love to know
Oh,
more
thank
about,
you.
if that's
Of
comfortable
course, of
with you.
course. Okay, so um I will start with my no no. Oh, I love him. Rest his soul. Giuseppe Amore. He comes from a long line of coffee makers. They love,
Mm,
like in Italy, that was their big thing, coffee. Until one day he decided maybe that isn't what he wants to do. There's plenty of other family members still doing that. So
mhm.
he and his brother, my uncle, or no, 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 my sorry, my his brother. So my, I guess my great uncle, or my, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that is how it works.
I'm sorry. Um,
It's
so
all
they
right.
invested in vineyards in California. So they specialized in wine. So that was their big thing, was wine,
Mm,
instead of coffee. So they definitely built a name for themselves and built their brand on fine wine. And that's how my grandmother, Lenore, I am definitely, my name comes from her.
yeah.
Lennon, Lenore. Lenore Frederick. She was a business manager. She had gone to
Mm,
college. She was definitely, this was all in California, so I have those roots over there as well.
mm,
Um, she was a business manager and she helped my nono with a lot of his numbers and like basically running his business for him. They met very young. It was like very early on in the business as well. And they kind of just grew that business together. And I think
mm,
that was so beautiful that they were able to find a common passion and like a drive within both of them, as well as be romantically in love. I think that's something that's so beautiful,
mm,
to be passionate and to be in love. That's like a double whammy for me. So they only ended up having one child, and that was my father, Paolo. He did not want to be in the wine business at all. He wanted to be in the entertainment business. So he loved music. I think both my grandparents as well were huge
mm,
into music, but not in the way that we're like, I'm I'm gonna play piano now.
mm,
There weren't musically like sound in that sense. They just very much so appreciate. They were huge appreciators of music. But my father was incredibly talented. He also learned a lot of languages growing up because of my grandmother. So he was able to, the linguistics, like he has strong linguistics, like an
Yeah.
understanding of that. Um, to this day, like he'll call me and just start speaking in a random language. Then I'm like, okay, please stop. Will you please stop and just tell me what you need? Because I'm tired of guessing. I'm so tired of guessing. It's his way of, being a dad and being
Mm.
just silly. Um, so so I don't have any uncles or aunts from him. But on my mother's side, it's definitely a different case. My um, my grandma and my grandma, my abuelita and abuelito,
Mm.
um, they are from Mexico. So they are from, like, I want to say they're from Guanajuato. So that's like about
Mm.
a couple hours south of central Mexico.
Mm.
So they're very rural folk. They're not big in like materialistic objects. They
Mm.
live very simply. Um, so whenever my mother ended up coming over here for college, um,
Mhm.
she met my dad that way. Um, and they met in California and they decided to build a life together. And my mother had actually gotten pregnant with my sister, my eldest sister,
Mhm.
Danielle. Um, she had not gotten married to her Danielle's father, so it
Mm.
was an interesting, not more so like she was faced with, I would say, issues because definitely very conservative family in Mexico, I would say. So she had to. There was many challenges she faced with that because it was frowned upon more so.
Mm.
Um, but when she met my father, he didn't meet, like, he didn't really, it didn't matter to him. They still
Mm.
built a life together around, like, he accepted my eldest sister as one of his own. So I very much so
Yeah,
appreciate that. And I'm so
I
grateful.
definitely. Yeah, I definitely have a similar experience since my older sister is actually not my father's daughter, but uh my mom actually became pregnant with my older sister
Hmm.
Kelly when she was a teenager. Um and luckily she had a lot more of a privileged experience, I
Hmm.
guess, since my grandparents were supportive of my mother. Um, they did encourage her to like do what she can to
Hmm.
still manage to get. Ugh, sorry, I
It's
just
okay.
dropped to like still build herself like a stable lifestyle. And luckily, she then did meet my father, and the two of them got married, had me, and
That's so
even
nice.
so, my older sister still has like a proper relationship with my father instead of her own since she never actually got to meet him.
Yeah, similar situation, definitely. Um, that's so nice to hear that information about you. I never knew that.
I don't think I talk about it openly.
Yeah, that
Um,
it feels almost weird to be like, "Hey guys, by the way,"
yeah.
but definitely. So I'm very much so appreciative that my father was accepting, and more so like they come from two different worlds. My father obviously very privileged, very like stable in
Mm.
terms of income and in terms of you know, lifestyle, you know? Like he doesn't
Yeah.
have to, he very privileged, didn't have to worry about where his next meal was going to come from, could like went to the finest colleges. Um, Whereas my mother came from almost nothing. Like she had, it was very self-made in a sense, in that sense, that she had to create her own opportunities for herself and risk and sacrifice a lot for her children and for a future, a stable future. I think that's something that is so inspiring. And, you know, I get emotional talking about stuff like that. It's
Mm.
definitely something that sacrifice, like greatness comes from some sort of sacrifice, I think.
Yeah.
So, would not be the person I am today if it wasn't for the sacrifices made by my mother.
Mm. We are running low on
Ooh.
time here, so I'll just skip to what I ask a lot of my
Hmm.
guests, which is during the situation, what have you been doing to keep yourself like sane? For example, I've started doing yoga and baking and things like that.
That's so nice. I'm trying to think because we can't really go out and do anything. I've
Yeah.
actually been like watching a lot of films lately. Like I wasn't really big into like movies before, just because
Hmm.
like obviously the lifestyle is you go out and you promote things and you're
You've not really had the
right.
time.
I definitely not had the time to engage in that, but I very much so films. I love films now. They're so like even if it's a bad movie, as long as I think it's even like I think I just appreciate films a lot more now.
Mm.
Along like on
Uh,
top of, you know, making music and stuff like that.
yeah.
I've just had a lot way more time on my hands to dive into to dive into films, definitely.
All right. So we're then heading to the end. Before we go, before I do my outro, I would love to know like anything, social media, events, things you want to promote. Just go ahead, and I'll put them in the description of the episode.
I'm actually here to announce that me and Aria will be coming out with a new collab album. Um, it is a Christmas album. So
Ooh.
November 25th, be ready, guys. Follow me on Lennon Amore and on Instagram, and follow Regime Entertainment at regime.ent, as well as follow follow Aria and follow the rest of the Regime idols.
Mhm.
Thank you guys so much for watching and for listening. I mean,
All right, then I'll end these episodes the way that I always do, which is I love your faces, and I will see you later. Goodbye.
goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and follow the accounts that will be linked in the description of this episode. And I will see you next Monday.